Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always.
This time, we're going to be looking at two NASA missions that are launching together.
Oh, cool.
SPHEREx and Punch.
I've heard about those. They don't sound that exciting at first.
I know, right? The names aren't super catchy.
But they're going to change how we understand the universe.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about everything from the very beginning of the universe to our
Right.
own cosmic backyard.
That's a pretty big range.
Right. And we've got this awesome article here that summarizes everything.
Okay, I'm ready to dive in.
So what's really interesting to me is that these missions, they're tackling these huge questions,
Yeah.
but from totally different angles.
Uh-huh.
SPHEREx is looking way back in time, right? Like to the universe's first moments.
Oh, wow.
And then POEN-CH is focused on the sun's influence,
Mm.
like right here in our solar system.
So bookends to the whole universe's story.
Yes, exactly. And the best part is they're launching together.
No way.
Yeah, on a SpaceX Falcon 9 from Vandenberg,
Okay.
March 2nd, 2025.
Yeah.
Mark your calendars. Maybe it'll be your lucky day, too.
Huh. Launching them together is a really smart move by NASA.
Right. It's all about efficiency.
And, getting the most out of every mission, really.
Absolutely. So SPHEREx first.
Mm.
It's going to create like a map of the entire universe,
A map.
but not just any map.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Think of it as like a color photo of the universe.
Okay.
But instead of the regular,
Yeah.
red, green, and blue,
Right.
SPHEREx is capturing light in 96 different shades of infrared.
Whoa. 96 shades of infrared.
I know, it sounds kind of crazy.
It does. Why infrared, though?
Yeah, good question. Why infrared?
Well, you see, infrared light lets us see things that are hidden to visible light.
Oh,
And because the universe is expanding light from the most distant objects, it gets stretched out
all right.
as it travels towards us.
Makes sense.
So by the time it gets to us, that light has shifted into
Yeah.
the infrared.
Ah, got it. So it's like SPHEREx has these special glasses
Exactly.
to see things that are like way too far away for us to see normally.
And too faint? Don't forget too faint. It's pretty amazing.
It is. So we're talking about mapping like 450 million galaxies
A lot of galaxies.
and 100 million stars in the Milky Way.
Wow, so much data.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And all this data, it could help us unlock like the universe's biggest mysteries.
Oh, I'm excited. What kind of mysteries are we talking about?
Well, like one of the main things SPHEREx wants to figure out is those first moments after the Big Bang.
The Big Bang. That's mind-blowing.
Right. Those fractions of a second where everything went from this like tiny,
Yeah.
dense point
Uh-huh.
to the whole universe.
It's incredible to think about. But why are those first moments so important? I mean, what can they tell us?
Okay, so by studying those very first moments, SPHEREx could help us answer those like really fundamental questions
Yeah.
about how the universe formed and evolved.
Oh, wow.
Like clues about those fundamental forces at play. Maybe even like the universe's ultimate fate.
Okay, so it's not just about taking pretty pictures.
Right.
It's about answering some of the biggest questions we have about our place in the cosmos.
Exactly. But wait, there's more.
There's more.
SPHEREx also wants to figure out how the first galaxies formed.
Those giant structures with billions of stars.
Yeah, how they came together, what shaped them.
So SPHEREx will, piece together that whole story.
Exactly. It's like looking for the universe's baby pictures.
Huh. That's a great way to put it.
But that's not all.
Wait, there's even more?
One more big thing, SPHEREx is also looking for, the building blocks of planets.
The building blocks.
Yeah, like water and other molecules around young stars.
Oh, so the ingredients that eventually become planets?
Yeah, like ours.
So it'll help us understand, what conditions are needed for planets to form.
And maybe even life.
Wow, so much potential for SPHEREx to change our understanding of, everything.
I know. It's amazing, right? And speaking of amazing, there's this one detail about SPHEREx that just, blows my mind.
Okay, tell me.
It uses a single still instrument.
Wait, what? No moving parts?
Nope. It captures different wavelengths of light just by moving with the spacecraft.
That's incredibly clever.
It's such an elegant design.
Really highlights the creativity of the people behind the mission.
Totally agree. Okay, so we've gone back to the beginning of time with SPHEREx.
Right.
Now let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
And zoom in on our own neighborhood, the solar system.
All right, sounds good.
That's where POEN-CH comes in.
POEN-CH. Okay, I'm ready.
So we all know the sun keeps us warm, right?
Yeah.
But its influence goes way beyond that.
In what way?
It's constantly emitting this stream of charged particles.
Oh, right, the solar wind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it affects everything in the solar system.
It's like the sun is constantly breathing out energy.
Yeah, it's a powerful force. And sometimes, it gets pretty intense. So PNCH is trying to figure out, like, one of the biggest mysteries about the solar wind.
What's that?
How the sun's super hot atmosphere,
Okay.
the corona,
Yeah.
transforms into this cooler solar wind.
That's interesting.
Right. Like, the corona can reach millions of degrees,
Wow.
but the solar wind is way cooler.
So there's this, like, dramatic transformation.
Yeah, and we don't really know how it happens.
It's like trying to figure out how boiling water turns into a gentle breeze.
That's a perfect analogy.
Huh.
So how is PNCH going to tackle this mystery?
Well, PNCH is actually a group of 4 small satellites,
Got it.
all working together in a really choreographed way.
Oh, cool.
And they're going to create a 3D map of the solar wind,
Oh, wow.
tracing it back to its source in the sun's corona.
So PNCH is getting up close and personal with the sun,
You could say that.
but it's not just about scientific curiosity, right?
No, there's a very practical side to this as well.
Yeah. Like, understanding the solar wind has some pretty important consequences for us here on Earth.
Absolutely. We're talking about space weather.
Right, space weather.
Uh-huh.
So, like, those solar storms we hear about, they're
Exactly.
part of space weather, right?
Yes. And those storms can cause all sorts of problems.
For real, like what?
Well, they can interfere with satellites, mess with communication systems,
Oh, no.
even affect power grids on Earth.
Real?
Yeah, leading to blackouts and things like that.
That's scary. So PNCH is kind of like our early warning system for space weather.
You got it. A very important job.
It is. But hold on. How can PNCH even see the solar wind?
Oh, that's a good question. It's so faint compared to, like, the sun's glare.
Right.
Well, the mission uses these special imagers
Okay.
that block out the sun's glare, like creating an artificial eclipse.
Oh, clever. So it can see the corona and the solar wind more clearly.
Precisely. It's like PNCH is wearing sunglasses.
Haha. I love it. Okay, so we've got SPHEREx.
Our time-traveling infrared mapper.
Yes. And
Hey.
PN.
Our solar wind detective.
Perfect. 2 very different missions looking at different parts of the universe. So why launch them together? What's the connection?
Ah, well, that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
Launching them together shows us that, despite being so different, they're both part of the same story.
The same story.
The story of the universe and our place in it.
Wow, that's deep.
Right. They're both contributing to our understanding of how the universe evolved and how we fit into that grand scheme.
So, like, they're 2 pieces of a giant puzzle.
Exactly.
And putting them together gives us a clearer picture of the whole universe.
You got it. And by combining the data from both missions, we're bound to make some incredible discoveries.
I can't wait. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
but there's still more to explore. Stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive,
I'm ready.
where we'll really get into what SPHEREx and Punch can teach us about the universe.
And what it all means for us.
You got it. All right, we're back. Still diving deep into those 2 amazing NASA missions, SPHEREx and Punch.
2 missions, 2 very different scales.
I know, right? But both telling this, like, epic story of the universe.
And how we fit into it all. It's fascinating stuff.
Totally. So in part 1, we talked about how SPHEREx is going to map the entire universe.
Well, not the entire universe, but a huge chunk of it.
Right, haha, of course. But, like, it's giving us this blueprint of the universe's structure,
Exactly. And then you've got Punya CH zooming in on our sun.
showing us how that structure plays out on a smaller scale,
It really drives home the point that everything is connected.
even across these mind-boggling distances.
It's pretty amazing. But okay, let's get back to SPHEREx for a sec.
Okay, what about it?
Remember how it's trying to figure out how the universe evolved?
Yeah, from that smooth soup of particles after the Big Bang.
Right, to all those stars and galaxies we see today.
And those clusters and voids.
Exactly. SPHEREx is looking for clues about how those first stars and galaxies formed.
And how gravity shaped everything.
It's like looking for fossils in the cosmic landscape.
Haha, love that. Okay, but let's bring Pun CH back into the picture. How does studying the solar wind help us understand this big cosmic evolution?
Well, think about it this way. SPHEREx is looking at the large-scale structure.
Right.
But PUN-CH is examining the processes happening closer to home.
Okay.
Processes that are also happening around other stars throughout the universe.
So it's like by studying our sun, we can learn about other stars.
Exactly. And the solar wind, it's not just this gentle breeze.
Yeah, we talked about how it can cause some problems for us here on Earth,
Right, like space weather.
but it also interacts with the planets.
Influencing their atmospheres, their magnetospheres, even sculpting the tails of comets.
Wow. It's more powerful than I thought.
And understanding how it works here in our solar system
Right.
can give us clues about how similar processes might work around other stars.
So it all ties back to that idea of connection.
Exactly. Everything is linked. Now, remember how we talked about SPHEREx studying interstellar ices?
Oh yeah, those frozen molecules between stars.
Right, the raw materials for stars and planets.
But what's the connection to PNCH and the solar wind?
Well, here's where it gets really cool.
Okay, tell me.
The solar wind and stellar winds from other stars,
Yeah.
they can actually play a role in the evolution of those interstellar ices.
Wait, really?
When the solar wind hits a cloud of interstellar gas and dust,
Uh-huh.
it creates shock waves,
Okay.
which heat up the material
Got it.
and trigger chemical reactions.
Whoa, so the solar wind is like a cosmic chef.
Uh-huh, exactly. Whipping up new molecules,
That's incredible. So PMCH helps us understand this process.
which affects those interstellar ices that SPHEREx is mapping.
So we're seeing two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. SPHEREx is looking at the raw ingredients.
And PMCH shows us how those ingredients are transformed.
It's all connected. Amazing, isn't it?
It is. But I gotta admit, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed by all this.
I get it. It's a lot to take in.
But it's exciting too, you know. Makes you appreciate how much we still have to learn.
And that's the beauty of these missions, right? They're not just about gathering data.
It's about pushing the boundaries of our understanding.
And inspiring us to ask new questions,
Which leads us perfectly into part 3.
where we'll tackle some of the big questions these missions might answer.
And talk about what it all means for us in the grand scheme of things. And we're back, ready to wrap up our cosmic adventure with SPHEREx and Punch.
I am. It's been quite a journey so far.
It has. We've traveled from the very beginning of the universe to our own solar neighborhood.
And discovered some amazing connections along the way.
So many mysteries still out there, though.
Oh, absolutely. That's what makes it all so exciting.
What are some of the big questions you're hoping these missions will answer?
Well, for SPHEREx, I'm really curious about what it might tell us about dark energy.
Dark energy, that mysterious force that's making the universe expand faster and faster.
Exactly. We know it's there, but we don't really understand what it is.
It's like this hidden engine driving the whole universe.
A very powerful engine. And by mapping how galaxies are distributed, SPHEREx can help us measure how the universe's expansion has changed over time.
And that could give us clues about dark energy.
It could tell us a lot about its nature and how it shaped the universe we see today.
So SPHEREx could help solve one of the biggest mysteries in cosmology.
It has the potential, yeah. What about you? What are you hoping to see from PUNCH?
Well, we talked about how the solar wind can strip away a planet's atmosphere.
Right, a pretty important thing if you're looking for habitable planets.
Exactly. So I'm really interested in what PUNCH can tell us about how the solar wind affects a planet's ability to, hold on to its atmosphere.
Yeah. And whether it can support life.
Right. So PUNCH could have implications for the search for life beyond Earth.
Absolutely. It could help us narrow down the search, focus on planets that are more likely to be habitable.
That's incredible. Okay, so beyond these specific questions,
Yeah.
what are some of the bigger takeaways from these missions? Like, how might they change our understanding of the universe and our place in it?
Well, I think one of the most important things SPHEREx and PUNCH will do is remind us of how interconnected everything is.
From the smallest particles to the largest galaxies.
It's all part of this grand cosmic web, all playing a role in the universe's story.
And these missions, they're showing us different parts of that story, right?
Exactly. SPHEREx is showing us how the universe evolved from a smooth beginning.
To the structured cosmos we see now.
And PUNCH is showing us how our sun interacts with its surroundings.
Connecting us to the vastness of interstellar space.
It's pretty amazing to think about.
It is. It really makes you feel both small and connected at the same time.
Right. It's humbling and awe-inspiring.
Totally. It makes you realize we're not just observers of the universe,
We're participants.
part of this grand cosmic dance.
And as these missions continue, they'll undoubtedly inspire even more questions, more avenues of exploration.
And who knows what other amazing discoveries await us out there.
Well, that's the beauty of science, right? Always pushing the boundaries of knowledge
Always searching for answers.
and always finding more questions along the way.
So, to wrap things up, I think the biggest takeaway from our deep dive into SPHEREx and PUNCH is that the universe is full of wonders.
Wonders waiting to be discovered.
And we're lucky enough to be living in a time when we can explore those wonders.
With incredible tools like these missions.
So keep looking up at the night sky
Keep asking those big
and
questions.
never stop exploring.
Because the universe is full of surprises just waiting to be found.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, that's it for our deep dive into SPHEREx and Punch. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And until next time, keep that curiosity burning bright. We'll see you soon for another exciting deep dive into the universe.